Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 3 weeks since my last video, but I'm back, and it's a good one. Run the title. Welcome to the channel if you're new. If you're not, then thank you for tuning back in for yet another episode. For those that have only just stumbled across my channel, you can click up there into the top right hand corner and that will take you through to a link to all of the previously released videos. Please hit the subscribe button below, leave me a comment. I always enjoy reading what you guys have got to think about how the project's coming along. As I've mentioned, it has been a few weeks since my last upload, and that is because I've been knee deep in bodywork, pushing towards trying to get this thing ready for primer. So I'm going to be giving you a good catch up of everything that's been going on in relation to that. But the main bulk of this video is that I'm going to be fitting my new Hartwell style latches that I got from Tornado Sports Car. So I'm going to be giving you a full step-by-step how-to, or how I did it, not necessarily how you should do it, but certainly how I crashed through it. So I hope it's going to be a good one and you're going to enjoy following along. Make sure you keep watching to the end of the video because I let you know what I'm going to be getting onto next, and it's something that I'm excited about. It's something a little bit silly that I should have done far earlier in the build, but hey ho, what can you do? And I think that's enough of the waffling. Let's crack on with the video. So many hours have gone into this body, but yet there are still so many more to go. I've basically gapped the entire body to give me 5.5mm panel gaps, and that will allow the makeup of primer, top coat and lacquer to be laid on the panel edges without having to hopefully worry about any interference clashes with any panels and future paint chips. You'll see coming down to the front here, to the front headlights, I noticed quite early on that none of the screw holes had been evenly spaced around the perimeter of the covers, and even more so that the spacings didn't match from side to side of the car. So what I've had to do is fill and smooth over all of the existing holes. Obviously I'm going to have to buy in some new material to make myself some new headlight covers and fog light covers, and then finally drill evenly spaced holes around the perimeter of which match both left and right. So finally it will have covers that look correct and fit as they should. The front nose panel has finally seen a skim coat of filler, and that's shaping up really nicely. That's ready for primer, to be honest. There was a lot of work gone into that, but it still fits really nice and tightly to the back of the radiator. So I'm really happy with how that has turned out. Onto the driver's side, you can see here coming up the side of the car, a couple of you eagle-eyed people might notice that I have removed the swage line that runs from the top of the window corner to the top of the rear air duct. Now, if you see any original Mark 1 GT40s, they will not have a swage line that runs along that line. It is a complete smooth transition, and that is what I've done here to replicate more closely to the original car, and it's a very small detail that I think looks really smart. The passenger side still needs to be worked up a little bit more. It's not quite as far advanced as the driver's side. There was an issue with some cracking around both of the rear air ducts and where they pass through into the engine compartment. That was mainly because how the previous builder had assembled it, and unfortunately it wasn't done quite correctly. And then finally a nice rear quarter shot, again showing that smooth transition in between the roof piece and the door clam and spider sides, panning down. Yeah, you can start to see hopefully that the bodywork is starting to take shape and it is coming together. The end can't come soon enough. So what I didn't video, which I must admit it wasn't particularly interesting, is me just laying up the fiberglass over a 25mm square, so a 1-inch square piece of softwood timber wrapped in masking tape. So this will form the new latch recesses for the front and rear clams. So then once that was done and dried, I pried off the piece of fiberglass from the timber buck, and then it was ready for a very quick sand and a quick application of P38 just to take out any low spots. Coming through to the clam, I was then able to cut out the existing recess, just making the cuts as nice and parallel and perpendicular to each other as possible, which will then allow me to get a nicer fit of the new recesses. So now I've got the old recesses cut out, I need to start prepping the new in readiness to get those fitted. So what I've done is cut my fiberglass layup in two. I've bodyworked the inside just so it's a little bit easier while it's off the car. You may see on the right hand one is a couple of holes there, and those are for the main body of the Hartwell latch. So now I'm ready to drill the holes and get the body fitted to the recess. Then I can take it back over to the car with the other part of the latch and get the height correctly set, and whether I need to trim the clam anymore to get this guy fitted in nicely. It'll all make sense when you start to see it all come together, I promise. So after lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of measuring, I have got the new latch recess in place. It's held in position at the moment just with some 2-part adhesive, which, you know, it's holding it securely enough so I can then go around and take some check dimensions just to make sure the depth of the catch is the same as on the other side of the car, and how it's positioned front to back is also the same as the other side, because, you know, just for my OCD. So what the plan is now is to fiberglass from the back side, wait for that to dry, and then what I'll be able to do is sand off the projecting portion of the latch recess to give me the flush front face in prep for some filler. I wasn't planning to bore you with the fiberglassing in of the latch, whatever you want to call it, but I thought I'd show you exactly how it's panning out, because I know some of you like to see every single last step. So I masked up the front face. I had put in a small timber spacer to stop the housing sort of closing up, because there was some natural sort of spring still in the fiberglass. So to keep it spread open whilst I added some P38 on the back. So if I can sort of get round the back and show you what's going on, you can see where I've just added the P38 to now bond in the new bucket and how it's sort of all shaped up. It's laid up really nice and smoothly. And I do that by mixing a very small amount of paint thinner in with the P38. So it basically allows it to run and flow into the gaps and around everywhere that I need it to go far easier than the standard mix of it as it comes out the pot, if that makes sense. So basically I thin it down slightly, only a fractional amount, but you can sort of see it's allowed me to get a real nice sort of chamfer in the edges around the perimeter of the new housing. So I'll let that go off. I'll then take the tape off the front, grind down the projecting lip and start getting some filler on it. And here you go, all 4 latches fitted. And I say it time and time again, but I'm really happy with how this has come together. From the initial mythology through to the final product, I don't think I would change any of the steps that I went through if I was to do this on another car. As mentioned right at the start of the video, these latches were from Tornado Sports Cars. I'll put the link in the description below along with their phone number. So if you did want to get yourself a set of these latches, then do give Andy a call and I'm sure he'll be able to sort you out. The quality of these are absolutely fantastic. The fit and finish is absolutely spot on. So I personally think it's going to make a world of difference to the quality of the car as a whole when it's finished. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to getting on to the next stage. Well, that basically wraps up this episode. I hope you've enjoyed following me along, getting these Hartwells fitted and every stage involved in the process of. In the next episode, I'm looking at taking on a bit of a massive one, in all fairness, and something I should have done a long time ago. And that is redesigning the rear clam hinge. I know what I want to achieve. I'm just not quite sure how I get there, and it certainly should have been done before I spent all of this time gapping the body, but hey ho, it is what it is. So make sure you tune in for the next episode to see if I've come up with a plan and come up with a design that is going to work, or let's find out together. So up until then, I will catch you next time.